And of course, my phone was on. What's up with that? Hello, everybody. Welcome to my blurry camera and the art of inspired selling. My name is Catherine Nunez, and I'm the host of the show. If this is your first show, welcome. Please let us know where you're tuning in live from. Drop a chat. This is an interactive show. I welcome you to bring your questions. It says if you're on Facebook, connect your Facebook to Restream to show your name and profile picture and I will type that in the chat because this is something new. I've been using Restream for over a year now. And these are some new things they have going on. So we already have somebody here. Welcome, Usam Sultan from LinkedIn. Where are you coming from? Make sure to bring your questions today. We are going to talk about marketing, wasting money, and we have a guest today, as always. Her name is Jennifer Glass. I'm going to give you guys a couple more seconds. My day's great. Thanks for asking. So the art of inspired selling came about during the pandemic. And I interview 6 and 7 figure business owners that are like-minded and they want to lead a discussion with me for you, the audience, so that you can pick up a golden nugget in case you're stuck. If you don't know where to turn, I want to bring these subject matter experts online to give you information so that you don't just survive, you thrive, which is the whole tagline of the show. It's a longer format show. We're going to be interactive. My guest is going to take you through a teachable moment. And at the end, you're going to leave with at least 3 takeaways and then information on how my guest can help you in the future if you're interested. So today we're going to welcome Jennifer Glass. She's the CEO of Business Growth Strategies International, the only company to offer growth coaching along with smart payment processing solutions, marketing plus web hosting, and design solutions designed to increase a company's bottom line. Jennifer is a business growth expert who works with small to medium-sized businesses to help them find money they are leaving on the table. She is also the author of multiple works, including her It's the Bottom Line That Matters series. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Jennifer on the show. In my blurred camera, what the hell's going on today? Hi.
Hello, Catherine. Tech gremlins are always incredible. They seem to strike at the best times.
Right. And I always say to my guests, like, I have no media training, right? So I need to make a little box on my floor where I don't move. Then my camera can keep up with me, but I tend to like walk around and move all over the place. So welcome so much to the show. And I will continue to moderate the chat. You guys, please show me or drop any questions that you have, and we will bring them to Jennifer, the expert, the business coach. So where are you coming from, Jennifer, today?
I am in New Jersey. I'm that Jersey chick loving the Jersey weather right now. Just, we need a little more sunlight. We got to pass a rule about that.
Along with it, let's not change time zones. Let's just
Exactly.
make sure that like the light has to stay with it. So Jennifer, as a guest of the art of inspired selling, and you guys, that name came about because I want my word and my why is to inspire everyone to be the best version of themselves. And with that word inspiration, the art of inspired selling is let's give you something to inspire you to go sell something, right? To get better at business. So what inspires you, Jennifer, to get up every day? How long have you been an entrepreneur?
I've been an entrepreneur now for 18 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
It is. And, not to date myself, but yes. And what makes me do what I do is because I want to help the small business community, because as our businesses grow, our communities grow, our nations grow, we all get stronger, we get better. think about it from this perspective. When you're a small business, or rather a nonprofit organization, or anyone dealing with donations, and you are a small business owner, they're all coming to you. They're asking you, can you donate something? Well, these organizations need their donations because they're trying to do what they're doing to help everybody else. And these small businesses may or may not have the money, the goods, whatever it is to donate. So as we look at where small businesses go, the more that they get better, our communities get better, our nations get better. And that's what I do, why I do what I do. And I've been accused of being utopian. Like, it's such a bad thing. Oh my God, we want stronger communities. I gladly accept that for anyone that's calling me utopian and
Maybe
not
you need
realistic.
to live in California, right? Because out here we all want utopia and we sing kumbaya, right? This is just how it is.
Absolutely.
I love that. So that's your why. And what made you get into business coaching? Now, I love that you had a lot, right, about a unique value proposition, because in this larger scheme of things, right, there's business coaches. And then there's business coaches that, what is your niche? Who do you work with? Because we just said small to medium-sized businesses, but brick and mortar, virtual businesses. Tell me a little bit more about that micro niche.
Absolutely. So I typically work with the retail businesses, B2B businesses, and professional services,
Okay.
along with e-commerce and nonprofit businesses. Those are the primary people that I work with. But that doesn't mean that there's not people outside of that, because obviously, in a niche, sometimes there are people that are related that still makes sense in terms of where I want to focus, or connected to other organizations. And this, by the way, for everyone listening, is a major ninja hack that you really want to pay attention to and write this down, especially if you're working with any nonprofit organizations. Get to know their board, because the nonprofit organizations are made up of people that are volunteering their times or invested in the organization, and they've got their own businesses. If you're looking at having a relationship and reaching more people, nonprofit organizations are an incredible way for you to meet the people that are actually going to be those decision makers in your business.
Oh, that is a great hack. I'm on a board and I'm working for a nonprofit as well. So I 100% resonate with that suggestion. They can touch a lot of people, right? They really can. Let's talk today. The title of what we're going to talk about is, where did I put it? You give me the highlight here. Oh, quickly grow your leads and revenue the easy way. For a change, I thought I'd be more organized and printed out. It didn't work so much. So let's talk about, everybody wants leads. Everybody wants leads. It's so interesting. So quickly grow your leads and revenue the easy way. So let's talk about, there's simple and there's easy. But let's talk about those three outcomes that we're going to deliver to the audience. What's the first one that you're going to talk about?
So the first one that I'm going to be talking about is how you can magnetically attract people to want to give you money, and how to create relationships, which is kind of going hand in hand in terms of what we're looking at. But one thing I do have to preface is that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. No, I don't have to work, as all of you understand out there in the real world. It's really all about creating the relationships and having the right market dominating position that is going to make you stand out from the rest of the crowd, right? Here's the problem that just about every small business owner that I speak with has as a problem, or they don't even realize it's a problem. What are your customers?
Blinders, right?
Right. What are your customers comparing you against to everybody else? Are you doing the old Walmart model? I'm going to have the lowest price. I bet most of you out there are looking at the price as the thing that differentiates you from your competition. Now, here's the thing. To have people magnetically attracted to you and wanting to give you money is not going to be the same thing as the lowest price, because people look at what the perceived value is of what it is that you're offering them. Right?
Let's talk a little bit more about perceived value, right? Define that for us.
Absolutely. So perceived value is how much do I think this particular item or service or product is worth? Think about this for a second. Last year at this time, when you went to the supermarket and you bought, let's say, a pound of bacon, you were paying about 40% less for the same pack of bacon that you just bought. The meat, the dairy, whatever it is, we've all been paying more. But the perceived value is still stuck in our head. Wait a second, I was paying $3 last year. You're asking me to do $5 now. That's not a good deal because I'm still used to $3, right? Again, going back to the Walmart model, I'm going to give you the lowest price. Perceived value is how much is a consumer going to think your product or service is actually worth. If what you're telling me is, well, I'm going to be giving you this, and that, and it's going to be $200 for the program, but someone else is giving it to me for $100, all of a sudden the perceived value is lower because it's not worth it. So when we're talking about perceived value, when we're talking about price, by the way, consumers are willing to pay 4 times the price if they see the perceived value is at least 2 times higher.
Ooh, let's say that again slower so I can type it in the chat. So it's here. So customers
are willing to pay 4 times as much if they have a perceived value of 2 times what the price is. Okay, so in other words, if I'm buying a car and the perceived value on the car is $50,000, right? Because it's got all of these cool features and everything in the car, but I'm only paying $40,000 as an example, I'm willing to pay the 40 because I see the 50 right there, right? It's a no-brainer. It's 20% more or 25% more rather than how much they're actually paying. But if you look at it the other way though, if now you're telling me it's $40,000 and you're asking me for 40, why am I going to give you 40? I'm going to go look at someone else because he's going to give it to me for 38, right? You're not going to be helping me. So one of the things you want to make sure that you are clear about is what are you doing to differentiate your value, right? The perceived value. Stop offering price as the only thing that you're competing on.
Yes, you'll lose.
Right. You're absolutely going to lose. Think about this for a second. And I don't want to kind of jeopardize or monopolize rather the time. But
it's all about you, girlfriend. This is about
you.
your value delivering to the audience. So 100%.
So think about it from this perspective. If you're going out and, oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought.
Perceived value, customer perceived value over just selling on price.
Right. So if you're going to be going out and you're going to be selling the price alone, how do you differentiate yourself? Here's where you start creating
commoditized service, right?
Oranges. Yep. Right. Apples to oranges comparison. One of the things, Catherine, when she was reading my bio to you, and she said, I'm the only company that offers all of these different pieces. And she called it out even earlier. There's so many business coaches out there, but how many business coaches are actually doing all of these other pieces? How many business coaches are making sure that when it comes down to you not leaving money on the table, that are out there and that have this breadth of services that they're offering? Because it makes a difference when you're comparing business coach A, business coach B, and me, all of a sudden it's not the same. All things being equal is not equal. And so whatever my prices are for the investment to work with me as a coach or in any of my other business areas, it's not the same thing because you're not looking at it in the same light. Take whatever business you have. If you're selling a widget but your widget goes into a specific piece. And let me actually give you a better example. Let's look at a home builder, right? I'll actually use a real example here.
Mm-hmm.
You have a home builder who is going out and saying, I'm giving you the jacks for the phone and the internet built into the wall. Okay. New construction, that's helpful because we've got so many devices. I may need the jacks that I can plug in routers and what have you all over the house. But what happens though if that same home builder started putting in though a full house surround system for theater, for internet, for security, all of that as he's building the home? Because he's building the home and he's working with a third party to help him add all of these other pieces in, he's paying pennies on the dollar because the labor is already there. He's building the home. So it's not like he's going to have to do something different. But now think about this. If you, let's go to the perceived value again. The home that was built with just the audio jack and the internet jack, right? How much is that house worth? 300,000,
much the same, right? If it
whatever
didn't
it
have
is,
it.
right?
Yes.
Now, if you're saying I'm giving you $100,000 package included with the price of the home, do you think somebody's going to be willing to pay $350,000 instead of $300,000 for that home? They're getting that $50,000 difference on the price of everything else that's built in, right? Perceived value is dramatically higher. So when you're looking at what it is that you're actually doing in your business, think about how you can be looking at these pieces, because when you're really differentiating yourself from your competition, not on price, but on value, now you're magnetically attracting people to want to give you money. And it's completely ethical because you're creating value. You're creating something that consumers are looking for. You're not doing it on price.
Yes, added value, added services. So when you work with your clients, or do you have now a tip that you can give, maybe a brainstorming session or something, so where somebody could think about all the different value adds they could add to their package or their service? Tip: make sure you know what's important to your customer. Don't just brainstorm these things because you're sitting in your glass house. Make sure you're asking your customers about what they perceive as value, right? It's not you as the owner that's actually the person that's determining all of this. Do you agree with that, Jennifer?
1000%. If you don't know what your consumers want, there's absolutely no way that you are going to find the answer. I tell my clients all the time, especially I'm working with one startup right now, and she came to me, she needed help figuring out how to get funding for her business. And I said, before we even go down the funding path, we have to know whether or not it's actually a viable opportunity, because you don't want to go about incorporating and getting investors or angel investors or whatever it may be, lines of credit. It's not going to work if the market is not going to cover what it is that you're trying to offer. And so you really want to know exactly what it is that your consumers are looking for before you go out, but constantly be asking your consumers, right?
How would you do that? Would you say, getting on the phone with them, standing outside a Walmart with a questionnaire? Like, what are some creative ways, if you're newer or if you're really looking to differentiate a commoditized service, what are some great ways to have that dialogue with your customers or potential customers?
So if you're brand new and you have absolutely no track record of anything else, there's a couple of things you can do. One, find a good mentor. That's the first thing I would tell you to do. A mentor can help you avoid all of the other mistakes that other people have done in the same space. It can help you really narrow down where you want to go. That's the first thing. Second thing, and I have to say this as an ambassador for the Small Business Development Center, reach out to the Sbdc. If you're here in the United States, the Sbdc is in all 50 states. Their services are already covered by the taxes that you pay in your business. So you can certainly reach out to them. If you don't know who to talk to at your local small business development center, feel free to reach out to me and I'll connect you through my local center to your center that you need assistance with. Third thing is start actually looking at Facebook, look on LinkedIn, and start finding people that are in your ideal space and connect with them and say, listen, I'm doing market research. I'm happy to give you a copy of my findings. Can I ask you, though, to spare 2 to 3 minutes and just answer a couple of questions for me? You don't want to bombard them with a million questions.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to do is you want to fine tune what it is that you're trying to get as your primary offering, right? And I'm going to drop a term here, MVP, minimum viable product. And I'm just going to mention Catherine and I, when we were trying to go live today, I'm in my basement studio. Something happened to my camera that I was having difficulty getting my background to actually work on my green screen. And so I'm on my green screen. My MVP is getting on with you right now, not the fancy green screen behind me. When you're thinking about what it is that you want to do with these people, think the same MVP. What do you absolutely need to get from them that you're going to know where the next step is going to be, right? That's where you want to start differentiating yourself. Find out what is it that you can do that is going to make a difference, that a problem is not being addressed in the market. Because some of those people may then say, you know what, Johnny, Janie, I want to work with you because nobody else is actually addressing that problem. And you hit it right on the head, right? As Mr. Wonderful or the other sharks on Shark Tank always say, build a better mousetrap and you're going to get people to actually find you. But you have to know the right questions to ask when you start going out.
And I think another valuable tip is to not overthink it, but get started with one thing. Because if you build your business, once again, what we just said, build it as you go, and the next step will become so apparent when you're working with your customers. You can't live in this silo and just guess. You actually have to get in the trenches and start working with them and listen to them. And I have my own case study for that. I first started my business, right, with rewriting LinkedIn profiles. So I was with messaging and personal branding, and I'm making all of these beautiful profiles, and then the market saying, now what do I do? Right now, what do I do? And so my next step is group training of actually how to use Sales Navigator. What's the next step? How can I reach more people with my expertise? That would be in a group setting. But until I got in the trenches and started turning out all of these LinkedIn profiles and finding out what people needed, I could have just been a guess, of what they needed next. But the market led me to every single person said, that's great. Now what? What do we do next together? So listen, get in and get it done, get some proof of concepts, and the market will take you where you need to go next. So let's go to our next takeaway that we have, which is, the first one was start wasting money on marketing that doesn't work. So give us some examples of marketing that doesn't work.
Absolutely. So
I have a list, but let's have yours.
We all do. I mean,
right.
I am bombarded on a regular basis. I mean, I look at my email right now, I'm probably going to have between 10 to 15 companies reaching out to me between LinkedIn and my business email, reaching out to me to do lead generation for me or appointment setting.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's nonstop.
It is totally nonstop, and they're relentless because nothing you do is going to change. Well, yeah, we want to work with you. Guess what? It's nice that these companies are reaching out to you and they're finding me, but they're not my market that I even want to speak with. So who cares that they're finding me? But here's a couple of things that we all know. One, some Facebook or other online market guru has said, you got to advertise here. Well, one thing that you really want to remember, the fastest way to lose a fortune is to do it wrong.
I like that.
If you're marketing on Facebook and you don't have a clue what you're doing, your message isn't right, the landing page isn't right, the campaign doesn't actually make sense, you're going to lose your shirt, right? That's the first thing. Second thing, stop spending money on mailings and things along those lines just because somebody said that's the way to do it. Again, if it makes sense and the campaign is right, the copy is right, the call to action is right, things along those lines, it's going to help you convert. If not, you're wasting money. There's so many programs out there, no matter what you look at, that somebody is advertising. As you scroll through your Facebook news feed, you see, at least for me, I don't know about you, but I know for me, I see so many programs promising me so much in terms of what I'm going to get just by using their program. And the truth is that some of these people don't even know exactly what they're doing themselves in terms of where they're going. And so the fastest way, like I said, to lose a fortune is to do it wrong. What you want to do is you want to start paying attention to what can you do that is not going to cost you significant amounts of money in terms of getting your message out there. Here's a really great one: joint ventures and strategic partnerships. I want you to think about that for a second. A joint venture is somebody that you're working with that is talking to the same person you want to be doing business with as well.
That's a really big one. Really big.
Absolutely.
And especially when you're starting out.
Completely, because we all know people, right? That's one of the things. And by the way, one thing I'm just going to take a step back on, we didn't cover this. There's a resource triangle. I want you to think about that for a second. You have time, money, and resources in your resource triangle. Whatever you have more of, and in the beginning, you have more time than you have money and resources. You have to use time to generate money and resources for you. If you have more money, less time, you have to use your money and resources to help you with your time. So the more that you think about what it is that you're doing in business, you're going to find ways that you can get there. Now let's go back though to the joint venture strategy.
Yes.
And I want to give you an example of what we actually did. So a joint venture strategy, I'm going to share with you about a florist that I worked with. And I like the bridal market better than the funeral market. I don't know, call me silly. You know, nothing against funeral directors and everything else. Unfortunately, at some point, we're all going to need them. But the bridal market is a lot happier. And so when you look at the bridal market and the event chain in the bridal market, you've got the guy is going to the jeweler who's going to be getting the ring, and maybe he's going to be going next door to the florist to get flowers when he wants to propose. So what do? You start a simple joint venture with those two people, and each one is cross-referring the other, right? The guy's coming in to propose. He's getting the flowers. Did you go to get the ring yet? Or did you get you're here at the jeweler? Go next door to the florist. They'll give you a discount, whatever it is. And I know I'm talking discount, but there's a reason for that here. They'll help you on getting the flowers so you can propose. And then you go down the rest of the event chain all the way through to the wedding planner, the venue, the officiant, the caterer, the DJ, the photographer, you name it. All of these different people are in that event chain. And the more that you can create different opportunities, the more you're going to be seeing an increase in the amount of leads flowing both ways. Now,
this is so important, everyone. And I just want you to think about that, right? We talk also about buyer's journey. This is a little bit different. This is the chain of events that who else is touching your buyer? Who else has the attention of your buyer? You know, set a timer, right? 10 minutes. Think about as soon as they're aware, right? With some sort of intent, what else are they going to do along that buyer's journey that you can tap into. Really, really important. We were just talking about that in an event I was at, Hera Hub. Really important to understand who else is touching your buyer. Great tip.
Absolutely. And the higher up the event chain you are, you can potentially either charge and get a referral fee for everybody down the line, or everybody is equal in terms of the process. Now, here's the other thing that we did to really make it super easy in the market. We gave out a trusted vendor list on a piece of paper. Now, I want, especially all of you ladies out there, I want you to think back, especially if you did go through a wedding of your own. How many times were you trying to figure out all of the different vendors that you may have needed to speak with in terms of the process, right? You had to find the caterer, and you had to look at all these halls, and you had to find the officiant and the band and all of the other things, right? If you know these are the trusted vendors, how much is that list worth in terms of your sanity? Can it make you less of a bridezilla as you're moving forward? And if it can, how much more is that list going to be worth to everybody else, right? Because now we're all on the same level playing field. So what you do is, that's not even costing you, by the way. If it does, it's minor. You know, you have to pay the people up the line that referred you. But in terms of what you're actually getting, you're getting built-in customers.
Yes.
And it's not costing a lot of money. Think about that for a second, right? You're starting out, easiest way that you can get started is by doing this. The next thing, everybody that you're speaking with, how often are you following up with them? Right? They say the gold is in the follow-up.
Or the future, I say, is in the follow-up, right?
Future is in the follow-up also. If you're not following up, and I love that comic where there's a guy who's digging in the tunnel, and he's like half an inch before the treasure, and he just stops. Yes. That follow-up is key, because if you're not going to be following up, and remember, by the way, it takes on a cold contact almost 100 times to reach people before they're willing to buy. How many times do you see advertising on television, or you see messages on social, whatever it is, until you're actually ready to buy? Because you're not in the point where you're ready to go. I want to just illustrate this for a second with one other statistic that is really interesting when you think about it. There was a 2018 UC San Diego study that said we as a human species absorb 34 gigabit of data on a daily basis. I don't know about you, but I know my phone, you know, my phone happens to hold 128 gig of space. Most phones are 64, right? If you're being bombarded with 34 gig, that's more than half of the amount of space your phone has on a daily basis. You ever wonder why we tune out marketing messages? It's because we're getting 34 gig of information that we're being bombarded with. Think about that. You wake up in the morning, your coffee maker's going off, your timer's going off, the kids are yelling, the dog is barking, the neighbors have their landscapers out there, whatever it is, that's the first piece of information your brain is processing. And you go through your day and you're hit with the traffic lights, you're hit with the billboards, you're hit with calls, you're hit with emails, you're hit with all sorts of different pieces of information. And the human brain has evolved to a point where we can deal with a lot, but we still have a wall that's built in front of us. We need to break through that wall. And so it takes 100 tries almost to get through on a cold contact. When you are talking to warm audiences and you use our conversion equation, interrupt, engage, educate, offer, and I'll explain that in a moment, now it's 8 to 12 times when someone is not yet necessarily ready to buy. Really quick, just to tell you, interrupt is the headline. You have to have a good headline. Remember I told you the headlines, copy, things along those lines can make your campaign fail. If you don't have a compelling headline, it's not going to work. By the way, you can get our calculator that tells you all about this on our website, bgsicoaching.com.
And I put that in the show notes, so it is there for everybody already. So that's great.
Absolutely. And if you go on the solutions tab and you go to the marketing calculator, I think it is, there's an interactive grading calculator that'll help you actually grade your marketing copy and let you know if it's got to be redone or not. And it's no opt-in, just go use it and take advantage of that. That's the interrupt. The engage is the subheadline. It's what you're actually telling me after you get my attention, right? What is it that is going to make me want to actually talk to you? The educate is telling me about your product, and the offer is the offer. If you don't follow that conversion equation that we call it, your messaging is going to fail. And so all of that goes into the other pieces where we are. So think about where you're going. And now you're going to stop wasting money on marketing. That doesn't work.
That was a lot. And you guys, this is recorded, so you can go back and refer to what Jennifer was just saying and watch it and visit her website and think about the strategy that you're using and the tactics that are going to support the strategy that you set. Let's move over to number 2. Know how to create relationships that can help you in your business. That's kind of what we just talked about, right? With the understanding where your buyers going, where they've coming from, and where you are in their entire process of making their buying decision. You're frozen. I'm hoping you're going to come back in a second. If not, I'll just keep talking until you are unfrozen. The third thing that we're going to talk about is know how to ethically, magnetically attract customers to you and your business. So with that, I'm going to jump in and wait for Jennifer to come back. Ethically, magnetically attract customers to you and your business is one of the, here she is. Let's let her back in.
Gotta love internet activity.
There you are. You're here. Can you?
I apologize for that, everyone.
That's okay. We can hear you. So I was just saying, let's move to number 3. Know how to ethically, magnetically attract customers to you and your business.
We discussed that earlier. The right value is going to be driving people to want to you.
Okay. And we just talked about a way to create more value. One of those was that list that you could make, right? How valuable is that to your customer if you could hand them a vetted list of people that you had conversations with, you've worked with before, you know, you can give a testimonial as well. That's really valuable to people. So that is
Absolutely.
a value add for sure. And that's a great idea. So any other tips before we wrap the show, Jennifer? We went through stop wasting money on marketing that doesn't work. Know how to create relationships that can help you in your business, right? Were you referring to the potential referral partners or the other people?
Joint ventures, strategic partnerships.
Yep. And then how to ethically, magnetically, I love those words, so I keep saying them over and over again, attract customers to you and your business. I can tap in with that as well. And that is getting visible. Getting visible, having a visibility strategy would also help with attracting your target market, as long as you're giving information that meets their problem, the problem that you're solving in your business. So tell me a little bit, Jennifer.
Let me touch on that for one second. So many people say it's who knows you, it's who you know that is going to make that difference, right? And a lot of people have been saying that, and there's some validity to that point. But here's where that goes off the rails. Don't think about it who you know. Think about it who knows you, right? Mm-hmm. Going on other people's programs. Like right now, I'm on Catherine's program. We both cross-promoted the program that I'm doing right now with you. I am now reaching you because Catherine knows me. Think about that, how that can work for you. Because the more people that know you, the more they're going to be reaching out to you, both for strategic partnerships, opportunities, all things along those lines, because there's a limit to how much time you have to be going out and finding people. It's about how people know you and how you can help. And again, by the way, it's all about offering value, right? If you're not going to offer value, please don't try this. But if you are offering value and people are seeing that and they come in, they are going to know you before you know them. And that's how you're going to reach an even broader scope of people that may be interested in working with you, especially when it is your target audience.
Yes, you've heard of OPM. We're talking about OPA, right? Other people's audiences.
Or OPP,
So leverage
other people's platforms, yes.
other people's platforms. Yes, yes. It's not even taking advantage of it. It's somebody just mentioned this to me where we're not even talking about imposter syndrome because you're there to make it about the audience. You're making it about the person, the problem that you're solving, the help. So how many people can you get in front of to solve problems? It's don't I have noise in the background, so I'm gonna go. But take that pressure off of yourself and put it on how am I serving? How can I serve people? What can I do to make their life better today and help move them forward where they're not just surviving, they're thriving in this world. And that could be you need a business coach like Jennifer or someone on her team that can help you move that needle forward. So Jennifer, tell me about what you're doing. Are you speaking anymore this week or this month? Are you going anywhere fun for the holidays? What's going on with you personally this month?
So I'm actually doing a program tomorrow. I'm doing a business boot camp for people that improving situation is doing a deeper dive in terms of some of these areas about doing more of the different strategies that are available to as you look at where you go, including one of the best ones, hiring, right? Labor shortages out there all over the place. I hear it constantly from people. I'm just going to share with you really quick. We spoke about a market dominating position. Think about what really separates you from the other people as it relates to your people that you're looking to engage and hire. That's going to have a major effect on you. What I'm doing for the holidays, I'm going to have fun with my son as my daughter is overseas for the year. But it's going to be an interesting time. How about yourself?
I'm on mute. Sorry, the
I'm
trash is here.
sorry.
No, I am taking off to Paris by myself. I decided that I was
Ooh.
tired. I was, my heart's in Paris and I'm torn between France and Mexico, which is a long story. But I'm taking off by myself. My boys have things to do. And so I'm catching a plane out of San Francisco and I'm 6 days in Paris. And I'm doing a live show from there. So it's really, I'm going to try to find a great backdrop because it'll be late at night, right? It'll be 8 o'clock at night when my show normally is. How cool would it be if I could find someplace fun with the Eiffel Tower in the background or the Louvre or something fun? So stay tuned, you guys, and you'll have to watch that episode where my guest is actually in New Zealand. I'll be in Paris and we're broadcasting primarily in the US. So that'll be a time zone interesting segment. Let's hope for the no techie issues there. Let's see what we can find. But I don't have any plans for Christmas yet. We were just talking about maybe coming up your way. My son's grandma lives out in the Hamptons, so we were thinking about going out to Montauk. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen.
Yes.
Cold though. I'm a San Diego girl. You see, I have no sleeves on. That's how it is. All right, you guys, I'm going to wrap the show. Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on and for delivering that information. You guys, those are great. If you just did what we talked about today, just those things, you would have success. You can't just think of them. You actually have to implement them, right? Done is better than perfect. Move the needle forward. We are after action takers, and action takers are the ones that are going to dominate the 2022, right? Taking action is important. But Jennifer's contact information is in the show notes. We met on LinkedIn. I put her Instagram. She's done a very nice job branding herself. All of her social media handles are the same. High five to that one. And which is important, you guys. If people want to find you, make sure you try to use the same social media handle across all of your platforms. Another tip today. But you can find her. You can hit her website. And thank you so much, Jennifer. Any parting notes that you want to leave the audience? And we have a viewer from Twitch. I just want to say hi because that's a platform that I play with. Tends to be a younger audience. But thank you so much for joining in and watching the show today. So tell me, any parting thoughts today?
Absolutely, Catherine, and thank you so much for having me. As Zig Ziglar said, you don't have to be great to. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Think
Yes,
about
I love that.
Get started, like Catherine was saying, get moving, do it. And as one quote that I'll throw out, Wayne Gretzky says, you miss 100% of the take. Start taking some shots, start out there, and here's to your success.
Okay, you guys, thank you so much. I'll be back next week for the next show of the Art of Inspired Selling. Share the show with anybody you think that this could benefit, and make sure to subscribe to my email list so that you ahead of time know who's going to be on the show and what value they're delivering in the next episode. So take care. Jennifer, stay on the show. I'm going to end it. Thanks, you guys.